It was barely past 8 a.m. when I first heard the shouting. Like, not your normal neighbor-to-neighbor stuff, but the kind that's loud enough to make birds scatter. I opened the blinds and sure enough, there was Karen. Yeah, that Karen, our neighborhood's self-appointed queen, standing on our porch, finger wagging in my wife Emily's face like she'd just caught her cheating at Monopoly. The crime? Having a neat stack of packages by our door. You're making the whole block look like a warehouse, Karen barked, practically vibrating with outrage, as if Amazon Prime deliveries were a personal attack on her honor. What she didn't know, couldn't possibly know, was that Emily, my calm, sharp-as-a-tack wife, was a federal prosecutor, the kind who's put men twice Karen's size behind bars with nothing but her words. That morning, as Karen delivered her loudest, most dramatic complaint yet, she picked the absolute worst target. See, we'd only been living in this manicured, tree-lined suburb for maybe 8 months. It was the kind of place with wide sidewalks, red maples in the fall, and folks who left Christmas lights up well past New Year's. And for a while, we really thought we'd found our little slice of peace. But every utopia's got its snake, right? Ours came with a clipboard and a bone to pick. Now, Emily gets packages, lots of them. Not because she's running some black market Etsy shop, but because her job's heavy on sensitive cases, evidence files, and exhibits for trial. That particular week, brutal. 3 FedEx runs, 2 UPS drops, a couple of certified envelopes. By breakfast, we had a half-dozen boxes lined up like little brown soldiers by the front door, and I swear, to us, it was nothing, but to Karen it was. Like we'd hung a junkyard sale banner from the roof. I could hear Karen before I saw her, heels clacking up the walk, that high-pitched voice coming through the glass. Emily, this is completely unacceptable. She was pointing at the boxes like they might explode. You can't have this many packages, it's against the guidelines. Makes the neighborhood look like a shipping depot. Emily didn't even blink. She just signed for another envelope, glanced over, and gave Karen a polite, almost amused smile. One of those, I'm humoring you smiles. Good morning to you, too, Karen. But Karen's like a heat-seeking missile for perceived violations. She started flipping through her papers, threatening written notices, heavy fines, referencing rules that I'm pretty sure don't even exist. This is a woman who fined the neighbor across the street for leaving a hose coiled wrong and made a family repaint their door because it was the wrong blue. Now she'd decided our porch was the hill she'd die on. I was ready to jump in, but Emily had it handled. She hit Karen with a question so calm, so surgical, it was like watching her in court. Is there an actual HOA rule on how many packages I can receive, or is this just your interpretation? Karen stumbled, tried to cite a clause about maintaining neighborhood standards, but Emily pressed, cool as ice. Could you send me that policy? In writing. Karen gave this little scoff, you lawyers and your loopholes. But you could already see her losing steam. Emily just shrugged and brought the boxes. Inside. Game on. 2 days later, Karen dropped a violation notice right under our door. Bright yellow, red letters, $500 per package if we continued. The kicker? Karen wasn't even supposed to be on our property without permission. Oh, the irony. I read the letter over breakfast, and Emily just tucked it away, saying, I'll keep this. That's Emily speak for. This just became evidence. But Karen wasn't done. Our neighbor Mark, who's basically the unofficial mayor of our street, dropped by to give us the heads up. Karen's telling people you two are running some kind of warehouse business out of here. Next thing you know, rumors start flying about Emily importing knockoff handbags. We laughed, but then Karen escalated, showed up on our driveway with 2 HOA board members, taking photos, documenting our porch like she was building a criminal case. Emily walked out, phone in hand, recording. You realize you're trespassing, right? She said, totally calm. Karen waved her off, claimed the driveway was common area, but Emily set her straight. Property line, deed, all of it. Karen started to look rattled, but she wouldn't let go. You can lawyer up all you want, but if you don't follow the rules, there will be consequences. Emily just smiled. I'm counting on it. That night, Emily explained her strategy. Let her build my case for me, she said, sipping her tea. The more she overreaches, the more evidence I get. She knew that pushing back too early just makes these people dig in deeper. The real move? Let Karen get so confident, so sloppy, that she hangs herself with her own rope. Sure enough, Karen kicked it up a notch. She started sending email blasts to the whole neighborhood. Recent incidents of excessive deliveries. Suspicious individuals, the works. No names, but everyone knew who she meant. Emily's only comment was, now she's moved from petty nuisance to defamation. And you could feel the shift. Neighbors started whispering, wondering what was really going on. The final showdown came at a Thursday night HOA meeting, packed house, tension so thick you could feel it. Karen tried to turn the whole thing into a public trial, putting up slides of our packages, quoting imaginary rules, hinting at all the danger we'd brought. Emily waited until she was done, then stood up, never raised her voice, but she didn't need to. She asked for the exact rule Karen was citing. There wasn't one. She pointed out that the so-called evidence was collected by trespassing on private property. Then, for the finisher, she laid out how the rumors Karen was spreading met the definition of defamation under state law. It got real quiet, real fast. Suddenly, the trial had flipped. Karen wasn't the judge anymore. She was the defendant. Emily sat down, and the room erupted in whispers. Karen's allies started fidgeting. Neighbors were looking at us with new eyes. Afterward, Emily started getting calls, emails, other people, even ones who'd been fined for stupid reasons before, sharing their stories, offering statements, wanting to know what they could do. But Emily wasn't just building a case against Karen. She dug through every HOA record, every vendor payment, every expense. She found irregularities, thousands in unaccounted funds, fake invoices, cash withdrawals over the limit. She sent packets to the state auditor, the county, even the Consumer Protection Office. Within a week, investigators showed up at the HOA office, and Karen's board allies started jumping ship. A few weeks later, at another packed HOA meeting, the neighbors held a vote to remove Karen as president. It wasn't even close. Karen tried to fight it, but the new evidence was too much. Emily handed over her files, thanked everyone for their time, and walked out with her head held high. Karen? She grabbed her clipboard, left the room, and within days, her house was up for sale. But Emily didn't stop there. The civil lawsuit went ahead. Karen tried to fight, but the evidence was stacked 10 feet high. Doorbell cam footage, emails, statements, the works. The judge ruled in Emily's favor, damages, legal fees, and a public apology that got posted to every mailbox in the community. Karen moved out. Her name became a cautionary tale, and the neighborhood felt lighter than it had in years. You know, people think power is about titles and rules, but it's really about knowing your rights, standing your ground, and refusing to be bullied, even if the bully is the president of your HOA. Emily didn't win because she shouted the loudest. She won because she was prepared, patient, and absolutely unwilling to back down in the face of injustice. If you've ever faced someone like Karen, at work, in your building, wherever, don't just swallow it. Document everything. Learn the rules better than they do. And push back, because sometimes the only way to make things right is to stand up and say, not today. So what about you? Ever tangled with someone who abused their authority? Share your story below. Who knows? Your courage might be the spark someone else needs to fight back. And if you found this story worth your time, hit that like, subscribe, and stick around. Justice doesn't just happen in courtrooms. It happens right here, one story at a time.